Welcome back to 13C. Today we're taking a look at the KRX shotgun from TriStar. Now on the surface this looks like an AR-15 style shotgun. It's got a lot of the same controls, a lot of the same features here as far as magazine release, bolt hold, last round bolt hold open feature, as well as a familiar position for the safety. Internally, nothing like an AR-15 at all. First thing when you pick this guy up, after noticing the similarity of controls, is the weight. 7.4 pounds on this guy, so it comes in fairly light for what it is, and feels pretty good, balances pretty well in the hand. Part of that lightness, how's it going to handle slugs? So we have some true ball slugs here. Run some of these guys through. Let's see how she does. These are the first slugs I've shot through this guy. We just put our hurting on that shootsteel.com target. That thing just went over. I was kind of shooting it on the rebound there and moving it around. We may have to dial in these sights just a little bit. I haven't adjusted them yet for slugs. But there you go. For the recoil for slugs that are coming in at 1,600 feet per second as advertised there, not too shabby at all, I'd say. It's not really too much in the shoulder pocket. So let's step from that down to something a little lighter. Here I have some number 4 shot. I believe this is from Winchester's. These are all 2 3/4 inch shells we're shooting here today. This will fire 3-inch shells. I don't have any out here for testing though today. So this is number 4 shot, which if you guys are familiar with my Saiga 12, you'll know that its favorite load to shoot, lightest load, is about a number 4. If it's clean and oiled well, it will run lesser birdshot, but it can be a little picky. All right, let's try the 4 shot here. That was 5 rounds, nice and quick. So not too shabby there. So before we do some more shooting, let's get into some of the features of this shotgun. Up front, we've got a 20-inch chrome lined barrel. It's also threaded inside. It takes Beretta Benelli mobile style chokes. And this is just an open cylinder that's in here. Screw this out. And out it comes, standard open cylinder to get you through. I'm talking with the folks at TriStar. You can suppress this shotgun. So stick around for another video upcoming. I'm gonna try and get a Salvo 12 in here, put it on this, maybe put it on another shotgun or two, and we have around here at the Hacienda, and see how this guy handles with that. Next, moving back, we've got this handguard here. It's one piece. We'll show a breakdown video of this maybe later on today. It's got a nice textured grip here. You're definitely not gonna lose track of this thing. It's almost kind of stippled, if you will, but not quite as pronounced. It's got a rail underneath for mounting any sort of accessories you might want, and it's got a full-length rail along the top here. For sight, you've got a front sight post up front, AR style, and then in the rear, you have adjustable for both windage and elevation here on this removable carry handle. As far as controls, they're very similar to an AR. Your magazine release is easily actuated with your index finger. Your safety is right here, same position as an AR. Throw is just a little bit different. Your bolt hold and bolt release are both right here, same as an AR style as well. Your pistol grip is molded into the base here as well as the stock, so you're not going to be able to replace that. This shotgun comes in at a price point MSRP, I want to say, is $595. Just looking before I came out here, checking on some online sites. Looks like these guys are coming in right now just as they're hitting the market at a price point of just under 500 bucks. So for under $500, you're not going to get a lot of modularity. At the same time, you're not jumping up in price. If you guys are familiar with that Saiga 12, I've got a lot of money in that. I converted it myself. Made it just the way I wanted it. I loved it, but you buy at least 3 of these for the price of that Saiga 12. Magazine-wise, little birdie told me that there will be 10-round magazines hitting first quarter, confirmed hitting first quarter 2017. This will still continue to ship with a 5-round magazine. This is technically for import purposes a hunting shotgun, so you won't see from the factory anyway any magazines over 5 rounds. One other item to note on magazines, I've heard you can take MK 1919 magazines and modify them to make them work in here. I haven't seen that done firsthand or had any experience with that, so your mileage may vary with that. Another interesting feature of this shotgun is that it uses a 20 gauge piston as far as to regulate the gases that go through here. Now, obviously it's a 12 gauge shotgun, but it's using that 20 gauge piston inside of it. Pretty clever idea, and from what I've seen so far, it does actually help to tame the higher recoil shells. We'll see in a minute how that handles lower powered shells such as the 7.5 shot that I've got. Another item to note with that 20 gauge piston system is that you probably want to keep your use of shells that exceed 1,600 feet per second to a minimum. Now generally you're going up with those shells, you're not going to be ripping off a boatload of them anyway, they're normally pretty pricey. But just for the sake of that system, I probably would keep all my shells here under 1,600 feet per second, just to be on the safe side. So we're in the barn for a minute to give you guys a quick breakdown of this. It's actually pretty simple. First you want to make sure the weapon is clear. And I like to return the bolt forward. Unscrew this top portion right here. Hold your handguard back. This comes right off. This will slide right off next. Next step is going to be to unscrew this, but before we do it, I find it's actually a little bit easier. Pull back ever so slightly on this. You're going to see right here an area lines up here where you can pull this bolt handle right out just like that. It only goes in and out one way. There's a notch on the top here. Looking through there, you'll actually be able to tell pretty well where that's coming out and how this translates down as it moves into that when it's disconnected like this. Otherwise, pull down on that, remove just a little bit of the pressure, spin this off. Then it'll actually go to the next level. You can spin it off of there as well. Then this actually will pull forward after there's a button right here. You need to push that in and then pull this down. It'll lock down. Then you can pull this barrel right off. And you have the rest of your spring assembly. Now this silver tube here will stay in place. You pull this the rest of the way off. You have full access to your bolt right here. I'm not actually going to take this the rest of the way off right now. But that's how you get in and out of this guy. Very quick, very simple. And then put it back together, you just simply reverse the process. Next up we have our third type and brand of ammunition. This is going to be from Remington this time. And this is their 7.5 shot gun club target rounds. This will probably be the true test right here. I found these to be pretty soft and hit or miss in my Saiga 12. Not too shabby. Let's see if we can fire that magazine with one more. So even with the 7.5 shot, this guy is still rocking. A couple of months ago I was down in Georgia at the annual Iraq Veteran 88 shoot. Had an absolute blast down there. Eric and Brandy and Chad and the whole crew down there. Amazing group of people. That's Southern hospitality. I love it. I miss it down there so much. Kind of being up here in the Midwest now. It's still a culture shock to me even though I've been up here for a while now. In any case, they had this pair of these TriStar KRX shotguns down there, as well as the folks from Crazy Quail were down there right next door. So, of course, inevitably, there was a lot of clay pigeons shot with these shotguns that day. I would have to guess at least 1,000 shells went through each shotgun that was down there that day. And these guys performed very well. I'll try and maybe roll in a clip of me down there doing some shooting with these guys. If not, you can go back to 13cgunreviews.com and in the archives. There'll be some articles and clips in there and stuff like that. Probably feature this shotgun as well as the event. Overall, my impressions of this shotgun are fairly positive. I know a lot of people are going to ding it because it doesn't have an adjustable stock. You can't replace the pistol grip. Keep in mind, guys, this is it has a street price, basically, what we're looking at right now, of under $500. There's only so many features you can put into a shotgun in that range, so definitely keep that in mind, as well as there are some import considerations, as this is technically considered from what I understand, a hunting shotgun as far as for its import purposes. The stock, it's got a nice big butt pad on the back of it. I don't really have any dings against it as far as a fixed stock is being concerned. The pistol grip is, for what it is, comfortable in the hand, fills the hand pretty well. It's at a decent angle. It's nothing crazy, so whether you're shooting down or you're coming up to try and acquire targets, you decide to shoot some clays with it, I don't think you're gonna have any issues there either. The familiarity of the air style controls are something that I like. The full rail along the top is nice to see. Although obviously if you're mounting stuff up front here, you're taking this handguard on and off for cleaning. But then again, it's a shotgun. You know, are you going to notice a, you know, 1 or 2 MOA shift for pretty much almost anything that you're doing, unless you're shooting slugs at long range, in which case you'd have something back here over the receiver anyway where it's not going to move. The front sight and the carry handle, while they work, I probably wind up just replacing them. It is nice to see that it actually comes with something on top of it. You could obviously replace this with any sort of backup iron sights you would want to have on here. The fact that it's actually adjustable for windage and elevation in the rear is nice. And in the back here, you've got a Peep Sight, and you can flip it over. And you also have a U-shape as well in the back here, so it's not just a peep in the back, which is kind of nice to see. With this kind of little fiber in the front here, in the light it is actually pretty easy to pick up. I would say if you're going to wind up getting shaded or something like that, you can actually slide these out. I might actually, if I'm going to leave these on here, slide this out and replace this front one with a slightly higher quality one, just because its light transmission doesn't seem to be as bright as I would like. But overall, for its price point and where it's at, I'd say TriStar came out of the gate very nicely on this one. Like I said, it's light, well balanced, and overall, they seem to have done a pretty good job on it. You will see this shotgun again. I'll wind up getting a Salvo 12 in here for testing probably at some point, and this will be one of the shotguns that it goes on. So definitely take a moment to subscribe if you haven't already. And speaking of which, your likes, comments, shares, and subscriptions really go a long way in helping support the channel and what we're doing out here. They're very much appreciative. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can ask them down below. We're over at Facebook, facebook.com/gunreviews, as well as on Instagram. We are at 13C Gun Reviews. Thanks again, everybody. Take care. Have a happy new year. Stay safe.